guys, this is our wrap up for July.
Yes.
I read 2 books.
I read 4 books.
Hey, we're doing better. We're like doubled the amount of books we read last month.
Yep.
This month is going to be crazy for you. Tune in for that TBR, because that TBR is a separate video because it's its own crazy thing. Okay, so that's also going to be coming out. But in this one, we're going to be going over the 4 books that we read. 2 of them were
book club
books. So, first one.
Children of Time.
Children of Time.
By Adrian Tchaikovsky. This was a book club book. It was very interesting.
It was. I really liked it because it was different than what I'm used to for this type of story. There was a lot of things that were very unique to this story.
It was well thought out, well executed.
It was Children of Time because a lot of time passes during the time, and it involves evolution and involves like cryo sleep. So a lot of time passes during those years. It's
basically the human race.
No, I don't think we should talk about it that much. Okay. Just be careful what you say. You're very good at spoiling things.
Well, I'm not.
I already explained what it's about.
Okay. But I liked it. I felt like it was a little boring in the middle. I really... It
was a little redundant.
Yeah, in the middle. I really enjoyed the ending.
Me too.
I really don't think we should mention the one thing that everyone mentions. Like, you should kind of go into it not knowing anything.
I didn't know any of that. I know what the thing... That's what I'm worried about, you accidentally spoiling.
No, I won't do that.
Okay.
You shouldn't... Basically, they don't spoil it on the back. It's okay to read the synopsis if you're interested to find out, like, what it's about. But don't read reviews online because people tend to give a big portion of it away, in my opinion. And
I would say if you like sci-fi
and science-y based sci-fi, you'll like it.
Yeah, it's good.
Like he said, it's a 600-page book. It does get a bit redundant in the middle, but the ending I feel was awesome, and the overall concept was good. Like, I enjoyed it.
It definitely has nothing to do with time travel, unless you consider cryo sleep, waiting for time to pass, and then waking up, and now you're in the future. You're technically time traveling, but the title was a little deceiving for me. I thought it involved time travel.
I think the title's fine.
I think it's fine. It makes sense, but again, it was deceiving for me. So.
But I read you the thing on the back, and it doesn't mention time travel.
But I don't remember what you read. We do this. We made this at the beginning of the year, and by we I mean I. And what we do is we print out these little stickers with the book titles. Book titles.
Rate stuff.
And then we put them on our rating board.
I don't remember what I rated.
We have a 1 through 5 and then star. The star is like the best of the best. And then at the end of the year, we'll go over all of the books that we read so far.
I'm trying to see what I rated. Do you remember what you rated yours? You can stick yours on.
All right. We'll stick mine on. I gave it a 4. A 4. Do you remember what you gave yours?
Now I do.
All right. And by remembering it, you mean you looked it up?
I gave it a 3.5.
Pretty good. I'd say mine was like between a 3.5 and a 4 as well. But I just kind of bumped it up because I don't know. It was so unique to me. It was so different.
And it sucks because the ending really makes me want to read the next book. Because it was a pretty good ending.
Is there another one?
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, do I really want to read another 600-page book like
Well, you have to. It's part of your thing.
Well, I way surpassed that.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Sweet.
So, yeah, that was that. Then I participated in the Reading Rush, which is the Booktubeathon reimagined.
You cheated.
I cheated because I chose one book that encompassed everything in the challenge. However, I did kind of fail. So I finished the book, but I didn't watch the movie. And I think I was supposed to watch the movie.
Well, if you combine us, I watched the movie.
Okay.
So, like, you could say that I did it for you.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go over all the challenges, but this does technically fit every single challenge. And yeah, it was a short read. It was interesting. I haven't watched the movie, so I can't really compare it to what you know based on the movie because I don't know how similar they are. It was weird. I liked the concept. The concept was interesting. There were some really interesting parts in it. It kept me reading because I wanted to know what was going to happen at the end. Some of it was a little too far-fetched for me. I feel like half of it could have been a really good Doctor Who episode.
If any of it is like the movie, it's a comedy.
Yes, I understand where this could be comedic, but in writing, to me, it wasn't funny at all. Like, I didn't laugh, I didn't chuckle, I didn't get any of, like, those funny, fuzzy feelings. Like, it just didn't have the comedy aspect for me. But I find that that's more of a problem with me. I've read a bunch of books that were written kind of in the past. I think this was written in the 50s. And, like, there's something that doesn't connect with me with comedy and books from before my time, if that makes sense. Like, I've read, my grandfather used to love this old author, and I can't remember his name now, Thorne Smith, and he wrote comedies, and my grandfather used to so he didn't know how to get a hold of Thorne Smith books, and like the internet was not a thing that he ever did, and so I ended up buying him 4 or so of the books, and he literally would read them and like laugh out loud, and I was like, and I would try to read them, and I'm like, this is not funny at all. Like, I have the books now since he passed away, but I'm like, they're just not funny to me. I don't know. I have a very hard time relating to humor from like before my time. That's all I have to say. So it wasn't funny. I did find it interesting. Some of the sci-fi aspects were interesting. Enough to where I wanted to finish it, but some of it was just definitely way too far-fetched for me and just like silly and ridiculous, and I was just like, no, I'm not into it. I want to I want to watch the movie now because I want to see how much it relates. I think I know what I rated this. So I gave it a 3.
A tree? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna like expand it out?
Just start like plopping them on top of one another.
I'll put a bar going across here. Next up is Brandon Sanderson's Warbreaker. This book. Okay, so me being on a Brandon Sanderson high right now, right? Like reading some amazing bangers, just some ballpark, just like out of the ballpark, right? Coming down to this, it's definitely the worst Brandon Sanderson book I have read so far. But I'm not saying that it is a bad book, just saying
he's a genius.
In like, yeah, exactly, right? So like Brandon Sanderson level, like everybody else, it's still like right here.
Yeah.
Like it's like on par with everybody else's like fantasy world, but it sets up for the sequel pretty well.
I thought this was gonna be like a one-time book.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why you thought that.
I don't know. Like, I didn't know that it was gonna.
Yeah, probably because this is the only one that's out so far. So you're like, it's the only one that there will ever be.
Because people say that this book and Elantris are his 2 standalones.
Oh.
So I'm like, I thought it was just a one-time.
But I mean, they're all standalones until they have sequels, right?
True, and I heard he may do an Elantris sequel, which I love Elantris.
But it won't be the same.
I know.
It's going to be like a completely different story because Elantris pretty much wrapped itself up. This one left a lot of loose ends. It starts off very slow, so just if you're planning on picking it up, it starts off slow. I'd say it's at least 50% of the book before it starts getting like pretty interesting, and then like the last 25% is good.
You know what's funny?
It what is it called? Climaxes pretty well.
Escalates or no?
Well, the climax is like the point right before the end, right? The drop off. But
I don't know. I feel like this book, if you're used to Branderson's level of magic systems, it is by far his weakest magic system he's created.
I think that they are the weakest magic users in the world so far. Maybe Elantris is weak too.
Because I feel like the magic system in that was at least explained.
No, I mean weak as in like physically weak. Like if they were all to compete against each other.
I disagree.
Elantris is stronger than this?
I think so.
Yeah. But still weaker than this
Like, they
form.
just didn't know how to use it.
That's true. Yeah, it was kind of like locked behind the door, right?
I feel like this book definitely, like, I like the beginning, and to me, a lot of this beginning reminded me of Elantris. There were a lot of, like, similar feelings and political things going on, and then, like, it kind of just tapered off and did its own thing, and I felt it was kind of boring for a little while, and then the ending was awesome. So overall, it was good, but
you
to
got
me,
money. All right.
I gave it... I don't know how to rate this. Up here, is that a 4?
Just do it halfway. Halfway. So, the beginning of the book, for me, was definitely like a 3. Right around here. And then the middle of the book was like right around the 3 too. And then towards the end of the book, it started getting better. It was like a 5 at the end. But we didn't quite make it there. So, I'm going to put this guy right here. 4! Did you give it a 4? Sweet. You have way more books than me. I gotta catch up. After this month, there's no way that I'm catching up.
Well, if I do it, my reading, my TBR is gonna be crazy.
My TBR.
My TBR.
My TBR.
I then read Furthermore by Tahereh Mafi. This is a middle grade, so this was my wrapped book for last month, which I finished once again. I'm doing really good with these wrapped books, I have to say.
So there are 5 left. We're going to be unboxing one of these during...
the next video.
What's it called? What is it called?
TBR.
The TBR video.
And I was honestly surprised by how much I ended up liking this. Like, pretty much throughout the story, it was like a 3. I feel like there's definitely middle grade aspects to it. I was getting annoyed with the main characters at some point because I was like, just talk to each other for God's sake. Like, I can't stand it when, like, people just don't talk and communicate.
Well, it's
figure
not
things
realistic.
out.
Like,
I
that's
guess.
not how it works.
But anyway,
like if you're like, I don't know what kind of world that is, but like in so many movies and books, like it's like a life-threatening thing, and I'm not gonna tell you about it for some reason.
That's what I felt like. These 2 main characters kept not talking about things for whatever their reasons were, but it annoys me.
Biggest problem with Last Jedi was that the captain didn't want to tell Poe what her plan was to teach him a lesson. For some reason, she didn't want to teach him or tell him that because she wanted to teach him a lesson, and at that point, risk everyone's lives because it's more important to teach him a lesson than anything else. Like, that happens in books and movies so much, and that ruins stories.
But anyway, so that's one of the things that bothered me in this. Even though it was a middle grade, I feel that it was very, very, very well written. It was, you could tell that she had the whole thing mapped out. She was able to, like, bring things together really well in the end. I mean, the character development was there. It was a well written story, and it was a good story. It was just a little too, it wasn't even predictable. So it was just a little too whimsical. Like, they live in magical worlds, and I felt like the magic was just nonsense. And you know how I feel about
nonsensical magic.
I hate it. I can't stand it. And a lot of it was too much nonsense, and I was just, like, bored. It was very reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland during a lot of it. So if that's your kind of thing, then you'll probably like it a lot. Her name is Alice, and she goes into this magical world named Furthermore. But anyway, it has a lot of Alice in Wonderland aspects. It has a lot of whimsical aspects. I did really enjoy the ending, and I feel like the ending definitely brought up the rating for me.
I'm going to guess 4.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm rating it next to Warbreaker. I probably should have dropped it to a 3.5, but oh well. I'm still bitter that I got this off of Book Outlet, and it says it's a signed copy, and it's not.
What if the sign is hidden?
I've tried. I've looked at even like the back pages, like where's
this looks
the
like
signature?
Kat Von D.
Oh yeah, she does a little bit.
Look at that, guys. It's Kat Von D, the author of this book.
Hey, I mean that's a compliment. She's pretty.
She's alright.
Anyway.
You're prettier.
Yeah, right.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and go read some more books. Let us know what you guys thought about our ratings, if you disagree or agree with any of our reviews on these books. And what are you going to say?
I want to read the sequel to this now. Apparently it's a sequel / companion books, so like you don't necessarily have to read one without the other, but they have some overlying.
Maybe one of these.
I don't think
sequel.
I own it, but I think like some of the overlapping, there's kind of overlapping stuff, but they're separate in their own way. But like one of those things where you can read them together and you'll enjoy it together. But I hear the next one is very like dark. And, like, it explores, like, a lot more darker themes, and, like, I feel like I would like that. Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to read that. I feel like it would be less whimsical. So I need to buy that.
Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to support the channel, go check out our Patreon. We got some extra stuff on there, and you guys get early access to wands and a book club thing type whatever read-along thing that we do.
To pretty much all videos, too.
And if you guys stuck around this far, I'd like you to incorporate into a comment the word treehouse.
Treehouse? Is that what you got that from this?
No.
What?
I looked at a thing over there. It said deadfall, and I thought of treehouse.
Deadfall. Oh, yeah. All right. Why does that make you think of treehouse?
Because if you fall from a treehouse, it's a dead fall.
Okay.
Say bye, Meek.
Bye, Meek.
Bye, bye, bye.